Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. Today I'm going to be taking you through something I've been eager to share, my top tips for getting better laser engravings. I have been using my current laser, the X-Tool S140 watt diode laser, for about 10 months now. Before this, as many of you know, you can check the video before, I started with a more affordable machine, and altogether I think I've racked up about 2 years of hands-on engraving experience. Now, let's be real. What counts as the perfect engraving is super subjective. Beauty is really in the eye of the beholder here. And of course, your mileage might vary, especially since some of you have a diode laser like mine, while others might have a CO2 or something completely different. But here's the good news. The tips I'm sharing today apply across the board. They come from tons of testing in my garage, countless hours of research in Facebook groups, watching YouTube tutorials, and picking up some trade secrets along the way. So, if by the end of this video you find value or picked up even just one new trick, do me a favor, hit that like button. And if you're into DIY laser engraving or woodworking, consider subscribing. Alright, grab your coffee or your favorite beverage, get comfy, and let's just jump right in. When it comes to laser engraving, the results you get depend heavily on the quality of the image you put in. For starters, always pick images that are high resolution. At least 300 dpi is ideal. Why? Because low resolution images pulled from social media or Google or screenshots simply won't deliver the crispness and clarity your engravings deserve. They end up blurry or pixelated, and no one wants that. Now, when choosing images, try to pick ones with plenty of contrast. Images with clear distinction between light and dark areas translate beautifully into engravings. Avoid images that are too dark, overly bright, or washed out because the laser will struggle to capture the details. A quick tip, black and white or grayscale images are usually easier to engrave. They simplify the engraving process by clearly defining contrast. You can still engrave in color, of course, but they will require some careful preparation, typically converting them to grayscale first to ensure the laser captures every detail. If you are engraving logos, text, or line art, go with vector images whenever possible. They will stay sharp at any size. On the other hand, for photographed or detailed artwork, high-resolution raster images like JPEGs or PNGs, they are your best friends. Just make sure they're clean, sharp, and have plenty of detail. And speaking of clean, take the time to remove clutter backgrounds or distractions using photo editing software like Photoshop, GIMP, or even Canva. Prep those pictures carefully and watch the quality of your work soar. Alright, let's dive into one of my favorite parts of laser engraving, choosing the right material. As DIYers, especially if you're using an affordable diode laser, material choice matters a lot. Let's start with plywood, the go-to choice for many DIYers, especially beginners like myself. Plywood is affordable, easy to find, and it engraves consistently, making it a fantastic material to learn on. But not all plywood is the same. If you're just starting out, I recommend Baltic birch plywood, sometimes called laser ply. It has a smooth, uniform surface, fewer internal voids, and less glue. When working with plywood, always consider the glue layers. Cheaper plywood often has darker or thicker glue layers inside, which can result in inconsistent engravings. If possible, go for plywood specifically labeled as laser friendly. It will save you headaches, and trust me, I've learned this the hard way. Also, wood type matters a lot. Softer wood like pine or cedar tend to engrave easily and quickly. But hardwoods like cherry or maple, being denser, typically yield finer details and more contrast. Cherry specifically engraves beautifully with deep, rich contrast, while bamboo, although technically a grass, engraves with more subtle results. One quick tip is that if you want deep engravings on bamboo, test bringing up your power and lowering your speed, and then do a lot of sanding. It's the only way I got to work. Personally, I've never had consistent results with bamboo. I guess more than an art, there's a bit of luck here. With all that grain variation and density shift, I get light and dark streaks on the same wood with the same settings all the time. Bamboo, I guess, is okay for quick projects, but cherry or walnut will give you deeper, sharper engravings. Now, here's a tip within a tip. Grain direction also impacts your engraving quality. Engraving along the grain usually gives a cleaner, sharper edges, while going against the grain can cause minor imperfections or rougher edges. It is a small detail, but it makes a noticeable difference. What about metal? If you're using a diode laser, you won't truly engrave metal directly. Instead, you'll be etching or marking metals like stainless steel or coated aluminum by using specialized coatings or marking sprays. It looks fantastic and durable, but just know the limitations. So can you engrave glass and mirrors with your diode laser? Well, yes, but with a bit of creativity. Glass doesn't naturally absorb the diode laser's energy very well because it's transparent. The trick is to coat the surface first. Black spray paint or chalk paint, permanent markers, or laser marking sprays, they work great. These coatings help your laser create a clean, frosted engraving. Just remember, engraving glass with diode lasers usually gives a subtle look, not deep, but still very classy. Mirrors, on the other hand, are engraved differently. You don't engrave the reflective front, but you engrave the backside, removing the mirror's reflective coating to reveal the glass underneath. Add a contrasting paint or light behind and your engraving will pop beautifully. Just give it a try. Preparation makes a big difference. Before you fire up your laser, one crucial step many DIYers overlook is proper material preparation. Getting your materials ready the right way dramatically improves your engraving quality. So let's quickly cover some essentials. For wood, always clean off dirt, dust, and debris first. A quick, gentle sanding helps remove imperfections and creates a smoother surface. For leather, gently clean with alcohol wipes so you can remove the oils and dirt. Real leather engraves beautifully. Just test on scraps first to dial in your laser settings. When it comes to stone, give the surface a thorough cleaning and consider a quick sanding with fine grit sandpaper to smooth any uneven spots. A pro tip here, applying a clear coat before engraving stone boosts contrast, making your design really pop. For canvas, a clean surface is critical. Remove any lint or dust gently with a lint roller or compressed air. If your canvas is painted, ensure it is completely dry before engraving to prevent scorching or uneven results. Now, engraving metal with your diode laser requires preparation. Metals like stainless steel or aluminum must have a coating or marking spray applied. Your diode laser won't engrave bare metal directly. Prep the surface carefully with alcohol to ensure the coating sticks properly. And for glass and mirrors, cleanliness matters most. Clean with rubbing alcohol first. For glass, apply a dark coating like matte black spray or marking spray to help your laser engrave clearly. A little prep goes a long way. Take the simplest steps before you engrave and your projects will always come out looking polished and professional. One step that separates good engravings from great ones, and trust me, this is from experience, is always doing a test engraving first. You knew I was going to bring it up. I know it's tempting to jump right into the main project, but running a quick test is absolutely crucial. Why? It saves you from wasting materials, time, and let's be honest, your patience as well. A proper test engraving means using a small scrap piece of the same material you'll be engraving. Test out different power settings, engraving speeds, and passes to find that sweet spot for your design. I often check my laser's manufacturer's website for suggested starting points. I also take a look on Facebook as many people post their settings there as well. Again, use them as a starting testing point. If someone says my power is 10 and my speed is 200, make sure you know what they're talking about. Always compare that information to your machine and make sure they match. From there on, start your testing. Now, when you're running your testing, keep it simple. Engrave small squares or basic shapes and clearly label each with the settings you've used. This way, you'll quickly identify which settings give you the best results without burning through your good materials. Remember, different materials, even different batches of the same materials, can react differently. So even if you engraved something similar before, a quick test is still worth your time. Take my advice, never skip the test engraving. Your project, wallet, and stress level will thank you. Let's talk about something often overlooked but absolutely critical. Keeping your materials secure during engraving. Why is this so important? Even a slight movement or variation during engraving can totally ruin precision, making your engraving blurry or uneven. Stability equals clarity, so let's make sure your material stays put. First things first, how do you secure your materials? You got options here. Masking tape, magnets, DIY clamps, double-sided tape, or even custom-made jigs are all great solutions. For wood or plywood, this DIY clamps or strong masking tape work wonders. Magnets can hold thinner materials with no problem. Now, what if your material is warped? Well, this is pretty common, especially with thin plywood. My advice, use heavy-duty tape to flatten and hold it firmly. If the warp is severe, just consider a different piece of material to avoid losing precision. And here's another tip. Always check your laser machine itself. If your machine isn't sitting level on your workspace, your engravings will never come out perfectly sharp. Use a bubble level to quickly verify and adjust if needed. Material alignment matters a lot. If you're engraving a specific spot, say on a coaster, knife handle, or an oddly shaped material, use a preview feature in your engraving software, if you have it, to double check the positioning. Also, engraving a paper outline or lightly marking with a pencil first can ensure perfect alignment before you commit. With my previous laser, I actually engraved a grid on the surface of the table I was using. It worked great as long as I kept that template nice, saved, and updated. If you want more info, the Louisiana Hobby Guy was my go-to for all things jigs, materials, and everything when I was starting out. He's a great guy, has a lot of great material, great content, so go check him out. So, secure your material, ensure your machine is leveled, and take a moment to align things carefully. Alright folks, let's talk about something that may not sound exciting, but trust me, it is crucial. Laser machine maintenance. I get it, maintenance isn't exactly fun, but regular care keeps your machine engraving at its best. And it also helps avoid frustrating issues down the line. First things first, clean your lens regularly. Even a small amount of dust or residue on your laser lens can drastically reduce your engraving power and clarity. Just use a lens-safe cleaner like alcohol or them alcohol wipes with a gentle, lint-free cloth. Next up, your machine's rails and belts. Dust, debris, and residue build up here pretty fast. Keep them clean by wiping them down with a soft cloth and periodically applying a light lubricant recommended by your machine's manufacturer. Check belt tensions regularly. Loose belts can cause blurry, distorted engravings. Tighten as needed, just don't over-tighten. Snug is perfect. Always keep your workspace and laser bed clean. Scraps, soot, or dust buildup can interfere with your engravings. Regular, simple maintenance goes a long way. It keeps your laser running smoothly, protects your investment, and ensures every project looks as good as the last. Now, let's discuss something that will absolutely transform your laser engraving journey. Keeping detailed documentation. I know it might sound tedious at first, but trust me, every experienced engraver quickly learns that good records are worth their weight in gold. Here is why it matters. Every material, every batch of wood, plywood, leather, or metal, every project will behave slightly different under your laser. Keeping notes on what worked, or more importantly, what didn't work, helps you consistently repeat your successes and quickly troubleshoot your challenges. So, what should you document? Start simple. Jot down your material type, engraving settings like power, speed, and passes, plus any notable details like surface preparation or issues encountered during the engraving. Take quick photos of your test results and finished projects. A visual reference alongside your written notes makes it easy to recall exactly how things turned out. If you are tech savvy, digital note apps or spreadsheets work great. If you're more old school like me, a physical notebook or binders does wonders. I normally keep all of my tests in a box for my not so quick retrieval. I often get distracted by my test results from previous projects, and I like to reminisce. Over time, you will build a personalized reference guide tailored precisely to your laser and your material needs. This means less guessing, fewer mistakes, and quicker results. Let's talk about a simple but powerful engraving trick, using masking tape. Why masking tape? Well, it helps keep your engraving cleaner and crispier by preventing smoke residue, burn marks, or discoloration on your materials. Here's how it works. Before you engrave, cover your entire surface with masking tape. You can use regular painter's tape or even better, laser-safe paper transfer tape specifically designed for engraving. You don't have to use white tape specifically. Color doesn't really matter. But lighter colors like tan or white make it easier to see your engraving results clearly. Now, a quick tip. When you use masking tape, you might need to slightly increase your laser's power or slow down your engraving speed a little bit. That's because your laser needs just a bit more energy to cut through the tape first and then engrave your material. When your engraving is finished, carefully remove the masking tape. You'll see a cleaner, professional looking result underneath. Masking tape is a simple DIY hack with a big result. And before I forget, I put together a handy list with all the tools, materials, and gears we talk about today. I also have a list of my favorite pictures to engrave from Creative Fabrica. Also, I have a link for the same machine I own, the Xtool S1 40 watt. It is the same package I got and I can totally recommend it. It comes without the razor base and the conveyor feed, but for my purposes, small DIY projects, I did not think I should get that right away. If you're curious about what I use or where you can get it, just check the video description below. You'll find my affiliate links there. Shopping through those affiliate links supports my channel at no extra cost to you, so thank you very much for using them. Also, if you want to buy me a cup of coffee or another beverage of your choice, I will very much appreciate that. Your kindness truly helps me get more videos out there for you, so thank you so much. Let's talk about something that will really set your engravings apart: post-processing. Engraving itself is just the first step. Adding a few finishing touches afterwards can dramatically elevate the quality, look, and durability of your projects. For instance, lightly sanding your wood or plywood engravings helps remove any residue or scorch marks, giving you clean, professional results. I use a Dremel tool at a very low speed and a fine grit to avoid doing more bad than good. Also, applying a stain, paint, or color fill to your engravings enhances visibility, making details pop. If you are working with leather, consider applying leather conditioner or a protective finish afterwards. It deepens the engraving contrast and protects your piece long term. And for materials like stone or slate, a simple clear coat or sealant applied after engraving can add depth and dramatically enhance contrast, giving you that polished look everyone loves. Even glass or mirror engravings benefit from careful post-processing. Just clean thoroughly after engraving and consider adding color or lights behind your mirrors to showcase your design beautifully. Post-processing takes just a little extra effort, but it's worth it every time. All right, let's tackle a topic that sparks a lot of debate in the laser engraving community: air assist. What is air assist? Simply put, it's using a stream of air pointed directly at your engraving surface to blow away smoke, debris, and soot as the laser works. Now, opinions vary. Some engravers feel air assist isn't necessary for engraving and might even reduce contrast by minimizing the darkening effect you get from soot. Others swear by air assist for cleaner, sharper, and more consistent results. In my experience, air assist dramatically reduces smoke stains, soot buildup, and residue on material surface. It also helps prevent flare-ups, keeping your materials safer, especially with wood, plywood, and other flammable materials. A quick tip: if you're concerned air assist might reduce contrast, simply lower your air pressure slightly during engraving. Many diode laser manufacturers recommend moderate air pressure, just enough to clear debris without losing that desirable engraved contrast. Here's my advice: if your machine supports air assist, give it a try. Run a few tests with and without air assist to see what works best for your style and materials. Let's dive quickly into a tip that is very simple but often overlooked: keeping your software and firmware updated. Believe it or not, updating your laser software like Xtool Creative Space or Lightburn and your machine's firmware can significantly impact your engraving quality and overall experience. Why update? Well, software updates usually include bug fixes, new features, and improvements that can enhance performance, reliability, and even compatibility with different materials. Firmware updates, which are basically software for your laser machine itself, often improve how your machine processes commands, engraving speeds, and overall accuracy. When updating firmware, carefully follow the manufacturer's instructions to avoid issues. This usually takes only a few minutes and can save you hours of frustration later. And that was it. Almost painless, right? My top tips for getting better laser engravings. I hope you found these insights useful, or at the very least, picked up one new idea you can take back to your own shop. If you did learn something valuable today, do me a favor, tap that like button. It really helps the channel. And if you would like more videos on laser engraving, woodworking, and other DIY projects, go ahead and subscribe. I would love to have you join our 1,600 strong little community. It is incredible. Your support has been amazing. And speaking of amazing, I wanted to thank Denisa, Liz, Wes, John, Susan, and Samantha, as well as many others in Facebook who have always been very supportive of me. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. Really. And as always, I'm always curious to hear from you. What engraving tip did you find most helpful today? Or maybe you got a great tip of your own that you'd like to share. Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. I genuinely enjoy reading your feedback all the time. Thanks so much for hanging out with me in the workshop today. Until next time, stay safe, stay creative, and keep making something amazing. I'll catch you guys in the next one. So long.